Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm back again. This is Seth Moore coming to you on Anchor by Spotify, by the way of Podbean, Apple Music, Amazon, as well as Patreon and Spreaker iHeartRadio. I'm coming on today because I'm going to be on for a moment, not very long. I just wanted to briefly give you some information, and you probably have heard it before, but I'm going to give it to you again, okay? And it's not going to be long. It's just going to outline some things and some things that you've already heard in the media and the news, and it's just so sad. It's so crazy, and how the U.S. deals with other refugees, if you want to call them that, who come to the borders of the U.S., and how that they turn other people away. And again, like I said, you more than likely have heard this before, but I'm just going to just kind of do some iteration here and give it to you again. Now, as we all know, with the continual, war with Ukraine and Russia and so forth, and what has been happening. And I spoke about Ukraine before during, early part of the war when it first started. I did some podcasts on it, and I, as a matter of fact, I even said this before. I said, and this is before it even came out. I had mentioned before, I said, watch. These people are going to come up in here and they're going to get free housing. They're going to get Social Security, and the government is going to set them up in the best places to live. And this is exactly what is happening. This is exactly what has happened. So there goes your reparations, black people, right there. Your reparations are going to Ukrainians that are coming up in here. As a matter of fact, I was, the other day I was doing some business. I was in Old Town, and I heard this family, they were coming down the street, as a matter of fact, and they were speaking this foreign language. And I knew they were Ukrainians. And the lady, she was with her husband and her child. And the lady could barely look me in the face. And I immediately knew what that was. Now, if you want to talk about a welfare system that has been set up for white folks, and this has been going on since this country started, and these are the very people. And mind you, I want to say this also. They're suppressing numbers on these podcasts. They're finagling numbers because they don't want this kind of information out. And then when it does get out, they want to suppress your numbers. They want to suppress people from hearing what you have to say, because you're actually talking about something that matters. You're talking about real news. Okay, we're not talking about no celebrities, what happened with celebrities, and what this person is doing with this person. And that's to me, that's not real content. It doesn't matter. It doesn't help us. But what I want to say, and at the same time, I'm not knocking these folk. They do what they do. But this has been happening for so long. And it behooves us as a people to really stand against this kind of stuff. Now, we all know, and I'm going to be reading some stuff to you in a moment. Just give me a moment. But we all know when the Haitians came in here, they were not welcome. Okay? They're being turned away. Now, I'm not going to even talk about the Mexicans and all these people, because that shit is way out of hand. Okay? They should turn them back, because there are too many of them in here right now. And that's just my feeling. That, yeah, I'm biased. I'm a little biased. I am. Because I think that it's a travesty. And I think that I'm not going to even talk about the unfairness of it, how people can break the law and then they get a pathway or want a pathway to citizenship after breaking the law and coming up in here and say, we worked hard. We work hard, or they work hard, or this, that, and the other. The groundwork has been laid. So you come up here and put up a couple of buildings. So damn what? What is that? So what? So talk about work hard. The hard work has been done. That's why you here. That's why you are here. That's why you're allowed to come here, because our grandparents, our ancestors paid for all of this, paid for all of it, laid the groundwork to the agriculture, the economy, the whole thing, the insurance, you name it. Our ancestors bled and died for it. And now you got these people coming up in here, and they're on a welfare system. They're getting SSI. They're getting food stamps. They ain't never done a damn day's work in here at all. And then you heard when the Ukrainian Russian war broke out, just last year, you heard about how these journalists got on TV, and I talked about it before. How these people were middle class and how they were this and how they were that. These folks, when you looked at some of the places that they were living, these folks were living in the ghetto. Trust me. When you look at those areas that Russia had bombed, and they showed those areas before the shelling actually started, those weren't no middle class. If that's middle class to them, I don't know what middle class is. And this is why it's always a game. This is why these folks were brought here. These folks were not living well. They were rationing off of food. They're going in stores. Really. And this is what is going on. So I'm going to give me a moment, and I'm going to read some stuff to you. And it goes to show you just how hypocritical and double standard and this country really is. And then they always, this is what kills me. I was listening to the Secretary of Defense. They always use a black guy to do it. And think about Colin excuse me, think about Colin Powell before he died. He got the COVID shot and then died. This man had to come and make a declaration and confess before he died that he actually regretted saying that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, which he knew there were not. He had to come back and recant, all the things that he had did in terms of that war, knowing that was the U.S.'s way of going into Iraq, to seize, the oil fields and so forth and so on. Like what they do everywhere they go. That's what they do. Pillage, plunder, steal, rob, kill. That's what they do. That's what they're about. Okay. And so this man had to come forward and purge himself before he passed away. And maybe that COVID shot that he got was intended for him to check out. That's how dirty these people are. So here we are now with Ukrainians all over the United States. In Florida, I was just reading the other day, they said something about, was it Florida? They dropped 11,000 off in Florida, and then the mayor with her weak ass in Chicago, okay, she was like, oh yeah, we have a Ukrainian community. We'll welcome them. So they were supposed to send 100,000 of them there or whatever. So here you are. You got another faction of an ethnicity in the U.S. And of course, we know that the U.S. needed to spruce up their numbers because they're dwindling. And this is a part of that whole thing too, as well. So here it is. You have this new faction of people in the U.S. now on the welfare system. And they're always talking about that black folks are the welfare people. And, and we all know statistically, there are more white people on welfare than have always been. Have always been. And here's a perfect example of it. You bring thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in this country, and they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. The Homeland Security said we're going to be able to set you people up, give you housing, give you Social Security now. Something they never worked for. Something they never worked for. Okay, so here it is. I want you to stay with me for a moment, and I'm so frustrated by this. But this is what has always happened. And like I said again, there go your reparations, black folks, right? There they are. So, uh, are you a Ukrainian individual or non-Ukrainian individual who has last habitually resided in Ukraine who has been granted humanitarian? This is what they call it. They call it humanitarian parole. Ain't that a bitch? Humanitarian parole. You may be eligible for federal mainstream non-ORR funded benefits such as cash assistance through temporary assistance. It ain't gonna be temporary, y'all. You know better than that. For needy families, TANF, which some of you know what that is, or supplemental so, security income, SSI. Ain't this some shit? They getting SSI, health insurance through Medicaid. Gonna get them Medicaid too now. Medicaid and food assistance through supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP. You may also be eligible for cash assistance, medical assistance, employment preparation, job placement, English language training, and other services offered through the Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR. This document focuses on the benefits and services funded by ORR. Okay, so now they have all this refugee, resettlement benefits for these people. Where are the other people that get turned away when they're trying to come into this country? With, of course, it's been echoed by my brother Omar. You know, according to the Haitian folks, okay, who settled Louisiana, okay, and made this country expand as much as it is today, okay, but they get turned away, okay, and all these other groups get turned away. Who are the Ukrainians with humanitarian parole? Certain Ukrainian individuals or non-Ukrainian individuals who last habitually resided in the Ukraine, who are also referred to as Ukrainians, which within this fact sheet have been or will be granted humanitarian parole by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in response to the Russian war on Ukraine. Ukrainian humanitarian parolees paroled into the U.S. between February 24, 2022 and September 30, 2023 are eligible to apply for mainstream benefits, resettlement assistance, and other benefits available to refugees with the expectation of the initial resettlement program, customarily referred to as the Department of State's Reception and Placement Program. Until the end of their parole term, these individuals' spouses or unmarried children under the age of 21 who are paroled into the U.S. after September 30, 2023 are also eligible to apply for these benefits. Where do I apply for ORR benefits, services after I arrive in the U.S.? ORR provides funding to the state governments, resettlement agencies, and other nonprofit communities based on organizations to provide benefits and services for eligible individuals beginning on May 21, 22, or the date you receive humanitarian parole, whichever is later. You can apply at the state government benefits office or closest resettlement agency in your state. For a state-by-state listing of local resettlement agencies, view the ORR state program directory, which also include a link to ORR state contacts. Okay, when should I apply? Benefit services. Do not wait. Your benefits and services are only available for a limited time. ORR funded cash and medical assistance are limited to a maximum of 12 months from your date of eligibility, May 21, 22, or the date you received humanitarian parole, whichever is later. Most ORR employment services and other services aimed at the economic self-sufficiency will be available to you until the end of your parole term or until 5 years from your date of humanitarian parole, whichever is sooner. So they're gonna have it for 5 years. So they get free money for 5 years, and you know that's going to be extended. And those folks ain't going nowhere. They're getting this welfare system. So now we have a 500,000 Ukrainians up in the U.S. now getting free welfare, free housing, Social Security. Now for those of you who are near retirement, you may not get none. You may not get any. Think about that. Your ass may not get no retirement. For those of you, I think about my children. Okay, they're in their 30s. I got a son that's just turned 40. Okay, so he may not get no retirement, and he works. My daughter works. They all work, so they may not be getting no retirement come retirement age, because you know they've already talked about this several times in the media, and how that by the time these baby boomers or these ginseng individuals, by the time that they retire, they will not receive no Social Security because it'll be all depleted. So what do you think? Tell me what you think. I want to know. Tell me what you think. I want to know. So this is what's going on, y'all. You got all these people up in the U.S. now getting free money, free housing. Never worked here, never done shit, okay? But now they're going to be getting all these supplemental benefits. Okay, you should bring proof of your nationality, your humanitarian parole, and the date you receive the humanitarian parole. Each individual in a family applying for ORR benefits and services should bring their own proof and date the humanitarian parole or whatever ORR eligibility status was granted. And a lot of those folks are going to probably say, well, we was fleeing. We didn't have no ID with us. We left it in the house. It got bombed and it got burnt. So we didn't really have no proof. You know you're going to have that, right? So Ukrainian humanitarian paroles are eligible to apply for federal mainstream benefits such as cash assistance through temporary assistance. I read that already. And this is just saying it again, for needy families or supplemental security income. And I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to even continue to read that. I just wanted you guys to know. I'm not going to continue to read. I just wanted you to know. And I wanted you to know, which a lot of you already do, how the welfare system has supported these people in this country forever. You can remember, we can go back when the black soldiers was coming home from war and they were denied the GI Bill, they were denied their benefits, they were denied this, they were denied that. Not only that, they were being mobbed by white men and beaten down and it's all kinds of heinous, And so, you know what? They're making a pathway for these people. Okay, so what do you think this is going to lead into? I want you to know, because as you know, you got other countries now trying to topple and de-dollarize the dollar in the U.S. that are coming together. And this country is already in a recession and is headed towards a greater recession because now Biden is regretting that he sent $50 billion and now they're asking for more money, and they just secured another $2.5 billion for military armament. You're saying that the tanks are not working. They need more tanks. They need more this. They need more that. So where is all this money coming from? They're just printing out of thin air. And now the U.S. has to up their debt. In other words, they have to raise the ceiling to the debt because the Secretary of the Federal Reserve was saying if they don't do that, this country is in trouble, y'all. It's in trouble. And we're headed for a severe recession. Severe recession because as we speak, the petrodollar is dwindling. And it still has some leverage, but as these countries around the world begin to galvanizing, as they begin to coalesce with one another, okay, it's gonna weaken the dollar. And so now you think about it in terms of how all this money is being spent, how all this money is being just thrown around, and you got all these people coming up in the country, and particularly these Ukrainian people who are getting a free ride off of our backs, off of your tax dollars. They getting a free ride off of your tax dollars. Think about that. That's what you should be. That's what we should be in Washington protesting. That's the shit you should be down in Washington protesting. That right there. How that you can bring a whole group of other people in this country and give them billions of dollars. And yet, you telling the folks who built this country, we're not giving y'all nothing. Or we going to think about it. Or we going to do a study. Really? And not only that, you got hundreds of thousands of people on the street, homeless, while they bring these people in here. Think about it. I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm done. That's gonna be all. I'm done. So until next time, you guys. Hope you have a great day, and remember to support, subscribe, and remember to visit us Patreon, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon.com, Apple Music, and many more. Here's Seth Moore speaking again, coming to you on Amazon.com. Have a great day.